I use this AI tool to quickly generate 50 blog posts and auto-publish them to WordPress. And each blog post just cost me around 1.8 cents. The AI tool that I'll use is called ZimmWriter. I'll use it to create a topical authority map. It will give me a list of blog post titles. Then I'll use the 50 titles and give it to the bulk writer so that it can generate the 50 blog posts. And then I'll use the ZimmWriter tool to auto-publish it to WordPress itself. So ZimmWriter is a content creation tool. You can use it to bulk create blog posts or articles for your website. It uses GPT to generate the blog post. It uses some internal magic to create good quality blog posts. So you can use it to create bulk blog posts, SEO optimized blog posts, local SEO blog posts. It can do search scraping. It can auto embed YouTube videos and images from AI. You can have custom outline and prompts. So there are many things this tool can do, but we'll use it to generate blog posts and auto-publish it to WordPress. So what are the pros and cons of using ZimmWriter? The first thing is it's inexpensive. So if you check the pricing of ZimmWriter, you can get it for $15 per month. There's also an annual plan, but if you want to be cheap, you can just use the $15 per month. And you pay for the OpenAI tokens, which are pretty cheap. So you get pretty good content quality. So there's some internal prompts it uses and makes the content quality pretty good. So this is both a pro and a con. ZimmWriter works on Windows. So you have control over it, but at the same time, you can only use it on Windows. The issue is it can take time to run. So you have to keep it in the background because based on the number of posts you want to generate, it can take that much time. The interface I find is a bit clunky and it's a bit antique. So I'll show you how it looks like. And it's, of course, I mentioned Windows only. So if you want to install on Mac, you have to do some acrobatics to get it done. So I would recommend using it when you have a Windows computer. Now it can generate some good quality posts, but there's basic formatting. You get list, table, all that stuff, but I don't see any bolding or any particular quotes inserted or anything like that. One more thing I don't like is there are no internal links or there's no facility for generating internal links. So even if I generate 50 posts, there is no interlinking between them. I'll have to do them using some other tool. Now let's look how we can install ZimmWriter. So you go to this website rankingtactics.com/ZimmWriter. You can do get ZimmWriter. You'll have to purchase the yearly plan or the monthly plan. So if you just want it for short term, you'll get the monthly plan and then you can cancel it. So $15, you get the tool and then you can use AI tokens. So that is pretty cheap and you'll get a lot of blog posts you can generate in this $15. So once you purchase this, you will get a license key for ZimmWriter. You also need an OpenAI API key. So if you don't have that, go to OpenAI's website. So platform.openai.com, register there, get your API keys. It will look like this. So this API key you can use with ZimmWriter. Once you download ZimmWriter, you'll get a zip file. You unzip, it will look something like this. So you run the start.bat file to run it. So let's run it and see how it looks. So this is a Windows tool. You can see it looks a bit antique like a Windows tool, but it has pretty good functionality. So for our purpose, the main things I'll be using is this options menu, the bulk writer, and this AI wall to create that topical authority map or list of titles we can use. So first, let's look at the options menu. So the top things, you don't need to mess with it. You can set the directory to save the blog. So it will save your text files in this directory. If you want to change your Open API key, you can change it from here. Or if you want to set a new ZimmWriter license, you can change it here. Now ZimmWriter by itself does some basic scraping of the SERPs if you want. But if you want like extensive SERP analysis like of Amazon reviews, or if you want to embed YouTube videos automatically into your post, in that case you will need Scrape Owl, which is a separate subscription. You will need it, costs $5 per month. So it's cheap, but you will need that if you want to use a SERP scraping, an extensive one. The simple one is included in ZimmWriter. Then this is something that we'll need for auto-publishing to WordPress, which is setting up WordPress. So if you use that, you need your WordPress site URL, your username, and your app password. So we'll look how we can do that. So go to your WordPress dashboard, go to users, add new user. So here you can give any username you want, ZimmWriter, your email, first name, website, and generate a password. So once you do that, you will have a user. Now don't directly use this user. You need an app password for this. So once you have created a user, go to edit. So scroll down. So this is what you want, application password. So you can create a new application password. You give it a name and then add new application password. It will create a password for you. This is what we'll use in ZimmWriter. So you need the username and the password on the app password. So in ZimmWriter setup WordPress, you can have your URL, your username and that app password and then save config. So I already have it. So that's why I'll use that one. You can also have images created by AI and publish your website blog post. So your featured images, your H2 images, you can have it generated by using the AI. So you can use something like stability, stable diffusion. You can use something like that, or you can use any stock image like Pixel API. I don't use this, so I will just manually add my featured image later on when I'm editing the post. So do note that these also will cost you credits, whether you use GPT or whether you use pixels or whether you use stability, whatever you use, they will have their own separate tokens and you'll pay for that. So once you're done with settings, save the options. Now we'll use the topical authority generator to generate a list of titles using ZimmWriter itself. So go to AI Vault. Here you can see activate topical authority generator. So we'll use this. Now how this works is you give it a broad concept, online business, fitness, gardening, whatever you want, you give some words in this. You set the limits, how much output do you want. So you can have the topical clusters. Suppose you want 3 topical clusters. How many long tail keywords you want in that? Suppose 10. And the blog post titles 3. So basically it will create topical cluster. Then for each topical cluster, 10 long tail keyword. And for each long tail, it will give you 3 blog titles. I would not recommend directly using this. Once it generates it, you need to go through it and you need to pick the ones that you find are good for your blog post titles and for the content. Because it can happen that some of them overlap. So they may give you the titles different, but the content or intent of those blog posts remain the same. So you pick the best one from the 3 blog titles that you find useful for your website. So we use the GPT model 3.5. I always use 3.5. It's cheaper and it gives good output, whether it's for the generating titles or for my content. Then hit the create topical authority CSV. It will create a CSV file for you. So you'll find that CSV file generated in the output file that you set up in your options. So I've already generated it because it takes some time. So I'll show you directly the file. So this is the CSV file and how it looks. It has this topical cluster, the long tail keyword, the type, it is curated, tips post, what kind of post it is, the blog post title, the category for your WordPress, the outline focus. So what is the intent of this content which will be used by the AI to generate the content, and then the merge. So this is what we will need. The merge thing is it merges all these required columns so that I can directly use it in the bulk AI content generator. So let's use the bulk blog writer of ZimmWriter. So I'll select all of these, whichever I want. So make sure to choose the title that you want the articles to be generated for. So select those, go back to ZimmWriter, and here you see this bulk writer. So use that. Now here you can paste all of those directly. It will generate a blog post for each of these titles on each line. So here there are some options that you can see. You can specify how many H2 should be there in each post. You can use this as a suggestion. So if there is a mention in the title of H2, so suppose H2s mentioned are 10 tips. So then that will be used instead of the default 5. But if there are no mention, then the default 5 will be used. You can mention the length of each H2 section, whether you want it short, medium, long. I use the short because it generates good content and it's decent enough. You can specify the voice. I use second person. You can have list and tables. I use this as well in your content. You can have key takeaways in your content. If you want H3s also in your content, you can enable that. If you want FAQ section in your content, the audience personality, I don't use this. You can have the GPT model you want to use, 3.5 or 4. 3.5 is the cheapest option. 4 will be a bit more costlier. You can specify a particular style of any individual that you want the blog post in. I use auto style. So it will just select something that it feels fits this particular type of content. You can have featured image. Now again, this depends. So you can either use the OpenAI or any of the other like pixels or stable diffusion like I had earlier mentioned. You can have it per H2 section as well. You can have YouTube videos, but again, you will need the SERP subscription, and then you can auto embed YouTube video. It will search YouTube videos based on your content and it will add it to your blog post. So this is what I'll be using is the WordPress. So right now it's disabled. So click on that and you can then select particular settings. So we have already configured one of our WordPress website, right? So you can use that and that will get enabled. So it will fetch the categories of this website and you can select any particular category you want to publish in your WordPress. You can set the article status, whether you want it in draft, directly publish, you want to schedule it. I keep it in draft because anyways I'm going to edit it later on, add images, make edits to the content. So I keep it in draft. If you use schedule, you can auto publish with schedule and you can set how many posts each day and from when you want to start it. Then you do save set. So once you're done with this and you are sure that you want to generate content for these blog post titles, so hit the start bulk writer and it will start generating. Now this takes time depending on how many blog posts you are generating. So when I generated 50 blog posts, it took me around 3.5 hours, 3.5 to 4 hours for generating the 50 blog posts. So I'm not going to do it now. I already generated it. So be careful that it will take time based on how many blog posts. So people use a separate server if they are generating like lots of blog posts. So this is more suitable if you are generating like 50 to 100 blog posts, it's still okay. You will have to keep your computer on in the background so that it can generate. So if it goes off, say sleep mode or something, it will continue when you start. But if you turn off ZimmWriter, say the computer turns off, then it will stop. So you will have to again start then yourself. So my suggestion is you keep it on and then generate and limit it to at one time maybe 10 to maximum 50 blog post generations. So once the blog posts are generated, you will find it in two places now. One is in this output directory that we had set up in our options. So these are all the blog posts. So this is in the markdown format, the text files. It shows you how much it cost for each. So here it costs around 2.9 cents. Some might have cost me on less. So here 2 cents. It depends on how much tokens it takes from OpenAI. Here it's like 1.3 cents. The other place where this blog post will be published is WordPress because we set it to publish automatically to WordPress. So if we check our WordPress dashboard, if we go in post, so all these 50 blog posts are in draft and auto-published over here directly. I didn't manually do this. This is automatically from ZimmWriter. So I can go into each of them. I can edit them. I can add my featured image, table, YouTube videos, make formatting changes, any text edits. I can do it now. So if you're looking to generate blog posts for cheap and directly auto-publish to WordPress, do consider ZimmWriter. You'll find a link in the description. Now this particular website that I showed you is my case study kind of website. I created it using AI itself in less than 10 minutes and I did it for free. So if you want to know how I did this, check this video over here. Thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next video.